Hi, Madre Birkel here from Sage and Summit. Just a quick video, one of our micro-learning series about conversations for better outcomes. In our program, A Coaching Style of Leaders, one of the tools that we teach is coaching for behavior improvement or performance improvement. And that is probably one of the conversations that so many people avoid for a number of reasons. It could hurt the person, they could take offense to the conversation. Emotions could rise in the conversation. It could start becoming a conflict of interest, a conflict of territory, or somebody could feel crushed and become completely defensive. So the possibilities are endless about how this conversation could go south. On the flip side of the coin, the possibilities are endless about the wonderful things that can be achieved in this conversation. One of my favorite organizational psychologists, Patrick Lencioni, names an example of a leader that eventually plucked up the courage to have somebody in for an accountability moment and explain to this executive that their behavior is impeding the trust, the relationship, and the outcomes of their work. And it was very frank, very respectful. There were no emotions during the conversation. The person left the conversation spitting mad, but after a few days of stewing on it, decided to act on it. And the colleagues, his colleagues right across noticed the improvement, the vast improvements, like, gee, what happened here? You're a completely different person to work with. We're actually enjoying working with you now. Probably they didn't say it in such terms. And the employee went back to the manager to thank him for the inputs. Like, I really was mad at you for giving me that feedback. I took it very personally. But I implemented it, I acted on it, and thank you. My relationships have improved, my outcomes have improved, everything has been improved. And from now on, I'll be a lot more open to feedback. So on the flip side, so much positive can come out of having these open and frank conversations with people. I want to name you one more example. Kim, oh, what is it? Susan? No, Scott. Kim Scott, who wrote the book Radical Candor, worked at, now I have to rack my brains. Anyway, she was employed, I think, by Facebook or PayPal, one of those places, and her manager called her in after she delivered a speech to stakeholders and investors. It's like very strong content, a very good message. However, to deliver that message better, I recommend you work with a speech coach. And she said, no, thank you, I'm okay. And after the next speech, her manager gave her same feedback again, kind of just dancing around it a little bit. It's like, yeah, strong message, good content. Can I help you find a speech coach? And she said, nope, I'm good, thank you. And the third time, her manager said, okay, let me lay it to you straight because you're not getting what I'm telling you. Your messaging is strong, your content is strong, your delivery sucks. You and ah a lot, and it makes you look stupid, which you're not. And she's like, oh, I get it. And she started working with a speech coach and solved the problem. So feedback is important. It's not always pleasant. So I have a few tools, well, one particular tool in here. There's a framework to work around that makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes when you have a formula or recipe to do difficult stuff, you can practice it and eventually make it your own. So here we go. So the first one is when you are stepping into this type of conversation. Now, obviously, you're going to have this conversation because at some stage, the behavior or the actions of this particular employee is aggravating. It is compromising results, it's compromising team trust, it's compromising something in your business, and you may have an emotion related to it. If we go into a feedback conversation, a coaching conversation at an elevated state, the other person will feel it. They will sense danger in the air, and they're going to be elevated and under defense before you say hello. Enter into the conversation calm, with zero negative or elevated emotions, no anger, no sadness, just a positive attitude. It's like we're going to have a good conversation about getting better results. Breathe, yoga breathing, go for a walk in the sunshine before the conversation. It's just so important to be calm before you get into the conversation. Number 2, be prepared, and so that your conversation is concise and to the point. In these conversations, the best practice is to focus on a singular event and not to take the pressure cooker approach. It works in life as it does in business. If you bottle up for 6 months about everything that your partner or spouse did wrong and then lay it on them one evening after the 3rd glass of wine, it never goes well. So one thing at a time, and that way we can improve step by step. And if the first one goes well and we get great results, it opens up the opportunity for the next conversation, because it's good. When we have these conversations, good things come out of it. So prepared and concise. And the third one is to enter into the conversation with curiosity and an open mind about the outcome. We don't know what's going to happen at the end of the conversation. Once we get to the bottom of the problem, the outcomes conversation could take a different turn. And between the 2 of you or the 3 of you, however many in the conversation, brainstorming and being open and curious might come up with a solution that's even better than the one you anticipated in the beginning. So be curious and be open-minded about the outcome. Let the best outcome generate itself in that meeting. All right. So the 4 square model. It's a really cool model for having difficult conversations of all types. And fun story, it works in life and in business. So the first place is we start with the facts. And then how I colored in those facts with my assumptions and beliefs. So the facts is just a black and white stick figure. And then my assumptions, because we see things through our own lenses, beliefs, values, history, experience. Our brains try to make sense of any stick man that we see, and it colors it in. But those coloring ins are uniquely to us, and we need to understand that. And then the color that we add to the picture generates feelings. And there's a feeling wheel, because developing a vast feeling vocabulary helps us to express those feelings very eloquently, more than mad, sad, and happy. And then my desired outcomes for this conversation. Now, this is a little bit different to a typical coaching conversation, but if we take a coaching approach to this conversation, which is being open-minded about what the outcome could possibly be. So let's follow here. Facts. What happened? When did it happen? And where did it happen? Just the police report, paramedic report level facts. So if we had to describe a car accident scene, it's a car drove down 106th Avenue and crashed into a lamp pole. That's it. One could probably clean up that language. Not that I'm personally not that good with the police. In fact, I'm a little bit dramatic, so I like coloring things in the big from the start. But if you, the opposite version, the non-police version could be is like a drunk person hurtled down the road at top speed and annihilated the lamp pole. That's the non-police version of it. A car drove down the road and crashed into the lamp pole, or connected with the lamp pole, whatever, is more factual. Once we have dealt with the facts, that everybody can relate to, you have to own your assumptions and beliefs around that. I believe the driver was intoxicated and lost control of the vehicle. I believe, or that your actions led me to believe or assume that you were careless, that you didn't hear, you didn't understand, you need training, or you're just disregarding what I'm telling you to do. Own your beliefs and your assumptions around that. And then, of course, your beliefs and assumptions will lead to feelings, wonderful feelings. It's like, based on those assumptions, I'm feeling very frustrated right now. I'm frustrated and concerned about your commitment. I am disappointed. I'm exasperated. Own your feelings. And then finally, here's the feeling wheel. Lots and lots of feelings. You can pause the video here and look for the feelings. But those are sort of the 6 basic feelings that people can have, and they can expand. And sometimes we have combinations of feelings. We sometimes not purely mad. We're mad and sad, or mad and scared. I haven't seen mad and powerful together, must admit. But anyway, so yeah, when you describe those feelings, use expanded words. I'm feeling this and this and this about it. Then the next step is, I would like us to create a common understanding. I would like us to find a solution to avoid this happening in the future. I value your contribution. So tell me how you see the situation. And then listen. Now, the person might not be used to this type of conversation. It might be the first time you use the 4 square model. They'll have to process. Give them the time to process. Most people are very uncomfortable with silence, but silence does the heavy lifting. It allows it, it indicates that you are not going to let them off the hook with providing a solution for them. And it also gives them a respectful space to process and to think. And just let it sink in. More often than not, if they see they're not going to pick up speed here, they will start responding, and that opens the conversation, and then they can go around the 4 square model. It's like, that is what I believe happened, and these are my assumptions on why I acted that way, and etc. And we can go around the circle and around the circle until we have one story that we agree on with an action plan going forward. And that's it. So in summary, manage the emotions. Be at best, at worst, neutral, at best, optimistic for a great outcome. Be clear about the facts. Prepare, write it down, like this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Be curious about their perspective. It's an opportunity to learn more about the person and how they see the world, because we all see the world differently. And then allow that person to develop a solution and take accountability for the progress. That's the coaching approach. Curiosity, and let somebody own their solution. Good. I hope you enjoy this approach. If you have any troubles, give me a call.